Hello, hello, good night. How are you? How is everything going? Can you hear me?
Hi, teacher. Yes.
Perfect. You can, Diandra? Yes.
Hello, teacher. How are
Hello.
you?
Here is freezing. I am in a zone of Bolivia, really close to the border to Argentina. And here is like winter time and it's really cold. And it's like, for me, you know that I come from Caribbean, we don't
Mm.
have winter, we don't have like seasons. So it's like it's hard. It's like so cold. Angie, can I please ask you that you turn on your camera? Is that possible? Okay, today we have perfect. Today we have a session that will be quite long. If for some reason you have to go because maybe you have other duties, something in your school or in your master work, whatever, don't worry about it. Just go out of the session. And remember that all of these will be recorded on live sessions on YouTube. So you can just keep updated when you can and when you have time and you find the opportunity. So the idea is that we continue moving forward. The last topic that we saw in our session was bad lawyering. My idea is finish that and start with something that we will use quite frequently, that is data security law. We are like trying to follow in all the structure of the course. I am so sure that you have it. And before that, if you have some comment or some question, or you maybe now have more time to discuss, or you want to discuss or comment something about the client care contract that I sent you before, or you maybe catch other part that you found really interesting, or maybe you have some questions about, now is the time that you tell me and we will share and discuss it here on group. So I'm completely open. If you maybe want to share a point of view, or maybe you just want to ask something that is not completely clear, please let me know. ¿Alguna duda, alguna inquietud, algo no quedó claro? De pronto ya hoy terminaron de leer todo el artículo, el contrato. Ya tienen otro punto de vista, un poco más completo. Amé, bienvenida. Vamos a conversar hoy 2 horas. Aparte que estoy preocupada porque siento como síntomas de gripa, pero en estos tiempos la gripa no existe, entonces estoy como, no, no, ojalá que sea solamente el invierno. Así que si me ven, decimos en Colombia, si me ven moqueando o así como, ténganme paciencia.
Buenas noches, mijo. ¿Usted hasta ahora no ha tenido COVID?
No, and
Mm.
hopefully not.
It's a bad experience.
And you get the vaccine, the
Yeah,
vaccine.
the vaccine, no, I'm so young. Now they are like putting the vaccine on 35 and up. I have like just 25, so not yet. But I
But
have
in
like
Bolivia, today start with the 18 years old.
Yes.
in Tarija, no.
No,
Mm-mm.
oh, in La
No.
Paz, yes.
But which one? Pfizer, no.
No, Sinopharm.
Ah, the
I don't
Chinese
know what
vaccine.
is. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm scared at this point. I'm scared that when I have to take the plane to Colombia, they tell me like, it's necessary that you have your vaccine or something, because in 1 month here they are so fast with all the vaccines, and in Colombia not, but here like it's really fast in comparison to my country, and I don't know if they will like change the rules, right? So I don't know. I'm quite scared. Just because it's necessary that I'm always like I'm so honest and so open with all my students, and I starting to travel again. I'm going to other two cities that I have missing before leave the country. So sometimes I am like in different places. So if you listen some, I don't know, something, someone talking, whatever, depends because sometimes I am like a shared spaces. So just be patient. As I was telling you before, today we will discuss about bad lawyering and we will start to talk about data security law. That is like my plan to advance all of that. And before I start, I was asking if you have some questions or if you want to discuss or share your point of view about the client care contract that I sent it before. And if not, you let me know and we'll start with our session of tonight. No, nothing. Comenzamos. Denme señales de vida. Estoy sola, no se duerman. Okay, so we will start with bad lawyering, right? Remember that we we read an article about it and we discuss it in one speaking call, right? But we never take the time to finish the slides. So I want like finish that part. And if you have any question, just let me know. We will start to discuss it. So you share with me your point of view from that article about what bad lawyering can mean. We have some ideas that we can complete or put it in a phrase for create our own concept, right? That is a bad practice that can be a crime or an offense, but basically that is based on bad faith and is a bad practice. Depending of the country, we can find some codes that are specific just for the lawyers, like disciplinary codes for all our behaviors on trial, on process, with our clients, with our law firms, and etc. So that depends of the country. In my case, that is in Colombia, we have the specific what is like the disciplinary code that we can like involve judges, prosecutors, state agents, like full or basically the people that works for public law, that works from the government, from the mayor, basically all the state agents, right? They have like an specific and special place and position in the society that demands that they have a different behavior, right? With lawyers, we have a part other code, and also we have a court, like a specific court that also oversees our license. And if one lawyer have like a really bad behavior, we can go and sue them, and they will analyze the case, and they can like take off the license for 10 years, 15 years, depending of the behavior. Colombia, we have like a lot of cases of corruption. So it's really common that one lawyer is involved in one of these cases. But at the most of the time, it's really hard that they take the license like by the reality. That is the reality of my country. I don't know if you want to share some of what is happening in Paraguay or also here in Bolivia or in Ecuador. How this works in your countries? Do you have like a specific bar for lawyers, or how this works? And then we learn from each other.
Here in Ecuador, we have a government agency.
Mhm.
The name is Procuraduría General.
Yeah.
So that the agency makes the study of bad lawyering on
Mhm.
federal agencies too. So it's like an control agency
Yeah.
for the public law. Yeah,
Mhm.
and when the bad lawyering is applied to the to the private to the private lawyers.
Yeah.
We can use the law, and the prosecutor, the prosecutor agency is the agency who can give the how do you say sanction?
Mm, it's like they can like put a sanction, or they can depending, because sanction is like more related when we are talking about disciplinary process, but when we are talking about crime offenses, it's like going to jail. That happens in Colombia. I don't know in Ecuador, but in Colombia happens because
Well,
sometimes it's a crime, so we
wait,
don't say like
here in Ecuador,
sanction, we
here
say
in
like
Ecuador
going to jail.
here in Ecuador is it's a crime too, because
Yeah.
if you act with a bad lawyering in some process, you can go to the jail for a
Yeah.
processor fraud.
Yeah, so depends. You can talk about sanction, but when we are talking about that, it's like more related with, like indemnization, or that they are putting out or taking your license for a couple of months. But also can be that you can go in jail. That is when we're talking about the crime. Then for that reason, I don't know if you can see here, I put it like in two different places, like crime and offense. When we talk about offense, is like something that is against to some code, como el Código Disciplinario del Abogado, el Código Disciplinario Único, like all disciplinary stuff is against like that kind of codes. And you have like some sanctions, that is what you use, but it's like they are not putting out of the bar, like they are not taking your license forever. You can just maybe, ask for sorry, or do like a public statement, you can
Uh,
like fix it.
we have here sanction like economic sanction.
Yeah.
That's the word, economic sanction. When you have a bad practice, where you have an in the oral litigation, you have a bad lawyer in here, and the judge can sanction you for this bad practice.
Yeah, perfect. And also, like, someone more wants to share how it works in your countries, and then I just close the idea.
Hello,
No.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Here
yes.
in Paraguay, the Supreme Court is the responsible to do the sanctions, but we don't have a code. And tell me, like, for bad lawyerings, we don't have too much. It's more for dudes and the and to prosecutor, but for bad lawyerings or for private lawyers, we don't have too much
Yeah,
law for that.
independent or consultant also, we can say,
Hmm? Sorry, I
like
can.
all the consultant part.
Hmm.
Can you hear?
Yes, yes.
I will turn on my data because that consumes, and then change the signal of the internet. Yeah, here is so important to understand that procurator's office, that was the ones that Daniel mentioned us, also they have like the responsibility to check how works all the state agents, you know they do it like they oversees, ellos regulan, ¿verdad? So it's so important to check that, yeah, if we are working for the government, of course that we have like an special responsibility. Of course, we have like other duties, and that duties will check it the procurator's office, la oficina del procurador, ¿verdad? But if we are not working for the government, also just for have our license, we have other specific duties just as a lawyer, and we can be like prosecute by the procurators, but also Les voy a decir cómo funciona nosotros en Colombia. Nosotros tenemos el Consejo Superior de la Judicatura, que eso lo vamos a ver ahorita, que es como el colegio de abogados, ¿sí? Son la barra y ellos determinan como quién es abogado y quién no. Ellos son los que ven todo el comportamiento. Así que cuando es muy grave, ellos son como la última instancia. Ellos dos son quien decide quién sigue siendo abogado y quién no. ¿Sí? Que bueno, en el caso de Paraguay sería diferente. No sé en Bolivia, as just for my experience, because I have been like living, traveling in Bolivia for a while. First, you have a lot of lawyers, but also you have like college for lawyers, right? But you are just like a social network. I don't know, like a social team when you go and you discuss and you make friends, you make contacts. But as the way that I'm seeing, just because I don't belong and I don't really be connected with the legal system here in Bolivia, you are not allowed like in this kind of groups too. They cannot like finish with your license, you know? You are just these groups is just as I can see it, just for make friends. Because you know that we work for reputation, we work like yes, it's the company of my dad or whatever, and you start to use like your group of lawyers, you start to see who is working where and whatever. So that happens here just because I saw it, you know, I saw how are the meetings, how they like maybe do some consulting work for the government, but don't have the same characteristics that have like the council in my case in Colombia. We act different. I don't know in Ecuador if maybe you want to Angie put something or Jamil, maybe you know how works this. What happens in Peru when we have these cases of bad lawyering? What happens with that kind of lawyers? They going to jail or no?
Well, in my country, I can see that. Well, I can say that. Well, every day I watch the news and I can find out that there are a lot of news about lawyering,
Yeah.
corruption from the judges and from the authorities. Well, in everything, especially in that.
But what happened? Just for about your experience, what you see in news and etc. The lawyer is going to in jail or they pay something and then they are out working again.
Yes, the lawyers get the jail. Well, they spend long time there, and they are sent off. Sent off. They don't. They don't get the opportunity to apply as a lawyer. Then the jail. Um, well, I know that especially.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So it's so clear, right? We have to go in a streamline. This is just a word for put it in your vocabulary. Vamos a dinamizar, coorganizar, agilizar, racionalizar, concluir, analizar, todo lo que ustedes quieran para definir que vamos a concentrar nuestro esfuerzo en definir una idea. We can use the expression like we are going to streamline on this, right? Also,
Teacher,
here
can you repeat the expression? Sorry.
we are going to streamline on it. Streamline. Yeah. I don't know if you see how I'm moving your faces, but it's really hard that I can like have the two parts now. Other thing, like when we are talking about companies, always who are the ones that will check like all the CV and all the records of all the lawyers is the ones that are in charge of recruitment process outsourcing. Todos estos procesos de reclutamiento son una oficina de lo que nosotros llamaríamos como recursos humanos en español, ¿verdad? And we use it like the company makes some contracts with others that will check and will oversees. This expression is so useful. Va a vigilar. How like are your records in all the public systems and databases that they can find and also in some private because they have access, right? So when we are referring to human resources, we are talking about requirement process outsourcing the most of the times. The government works so good, but also for the huge law firms, they use it too much. Like for check your records, do all the interviews, and you like a selection, and then like the last interview will do it like your boss or your future boss, but all the process of you know select who maybe yes is the best option for this charge, we'll be doing by the recruitment process agency, right? Other expression that we use too much is like the bunch of attorneys, grupo, puñado, manojo, sería la manera como más literal de traducirlo. But basically, we are referring to a team or to the law firm, or the team in charge is also allowed. Here is like the example, and we start to connect the dots, right? And it's like the team in charge in one agency of recruitment process outsourcing will be, in the most of the cases, we have always a lawyer that is specialized in labor law. And they will work like all your psychological part for become part of the team or become part of the bunch. You know that the bar requires moral character, right? If they can find a way to blemish on it or blemish on you for something, they will use everything that they can when we are talking in a period. Imagine that some of you guys have a problem or an issue really hard, and maybe you work for the government. We are putting like really horrible. Then when you have this time for proofs, for present all the proofs that you have against, that they have against you, but also all the ones that you will use for defend yourself, you can be your own lawyer, but also you can pay other ones like so specialized in this kind of topics. They will start to analyze any way to blemish you, to try to put something really dark on you. But also how we are working here, not with a judge, we are working like in front of the bar, we are like showing them to more than one, depending of the technique that you want to use. But the thing here is like they will try to find any ethical limitation that you have. So imagine that they are going to your school to try to find if you copy one exam at some point of your life. They will start to find a way that from the beginning of your history, um, even in, I don't know, primary school, if you have something that they can blemish on you, because that is how they work against this specific character, right? The moral character. And it's the only way that they can put it down in front of the judge or in front of the group or in front of the bar, right? This is the example that I just gave you, right? The Consejo Superior de la Judicatura. They will start to find any ethical restrictions, limitations that you get from even become that you become a lawyer, right? And this happens too much with some lawyers that they have some notes, no sé cómo se diga en sus países, pero en el colegio nosotros le llamamos esperen, déjenme viajo en mi memoria, en el observador. Así que si tú hacías como, no sé, llegaste con las medidas que no eran, te anotaban en el observador. ¿Sí? Y esto ha sido un tema súper controversial, just for the Supreme Court of Justice, because they start to talk about that you can go to this kind of, you can have all these kinds of notes, but also you are getting mature with time, then you win like conscious about your life and about your profession and everything. That doesn't mean that if you copy an exams when you were in primary school, you are just for that you become a bad lawyer, right? But this is just some tips that I'm giving you just by experience and how this is working in my country. That is my experience all is about. So for the exercise of law, we have to get a bar license, right? This is so common. This is like the professional card, and it's the most valuable thing that we have. So some of the requirements, we know that is the law degree, then we have some registration in the Ministry of Justice, but also we are or we belong to the control of all our professional practice, not just for the Ministry of Justice, but also for the Bars Association. That was what I referred a couple of minutes ago. Aquí en Bolivia ellos tienen muchos colegios de abogados, muchísimos. O sea, en toda la ciudad yo he visto el colegio de abogados. But actually, I'm not sure if they're allowed to oversee all your behavior in your career, and also if they can like put you in a situation just in front of the bar for lose your license. I don't know, or if that do it the
Bolivia,
Ministry of
teacher?
Justice. Yeah, in Bolivia.
No, just if you inscribe, or if you register on the
Register?
on the School of Lawyers.
Yeah.
Only if you register, you have a sanction, or is always is a pecuniary sanction, but
Yeah.
the of the country is a ministry of justice.
Mhm.
In this place,
Like the head of.
yeah, in this place, has a section called wait, called Registro Público de la Abogacía.
Mhm. Yeah, like
Is
a public
where
register
you
for
is where
lawyers.
you give you can give your license of lawyer, or you can without, or you can lose this if you
Okay.
you
Do bad
if
practice.
you yeah, but if you do bad lawyering.
Okay. So after the whole process, in this case, in the office that you discussed or that you share with us, after all the process and all the proofs that they need to present against you or against your law firm or etc., exist two ways. Like they kind of you win or you lose. If you win, you continue with your license. If not, we will use this expression and you get disbarred.
Teacher,
Estás
I,
fuera de la barra.
teacher, I think el colegio de abogados is not the same at the bar.
Yeah, in your
The,
country.
yeah, in my country is not
Mhm.
the same because the colegio de abogados it's like a club here.
Yeah,
It's like a camp club. So the bar is totally different. It's like a tribunal.
yeah, perfect. In Colombia, we have all of clubs. It's just what I told you. It's like the club, and they start to make businesses around, for have drinks and special dinners and etc. When we are just seeing the experience of America, all like the bar are the ones that oversees all your behavior, but also when we are talking about yeah, the bar association is like if they belong to the same, is like the bar will just like becomes your team, your group, your club, but also some specific members, like the most experienced one, or just depending of if they are specialized in your topic, they can also become the judge in a specific case where they are like trying to taking your license away because of a mistake that you create or a bad behavior, that because you act with basically bad faith, right?
Okay, but this is the association. So
Yeah,
the bar is
yeah,
another
but
thing.
belongs to the bar.
Okay.
That is the difference. And for that reason, I am giving you like, depending of the country, we will have different agencies. But the main idea or the principal idea here is we have a company, our agency, our office that oversees our behavior. And now I'm showing you like from like the complete perspective. Basically, what is important here? That you can have your license or get this bar. This is the result of your bad behavior, which you can add with bad faith and etc. But also, here's something that changed for our legal systems. Before you become a lawyer in some countries of Europe and America, you have to present an exam. And we were discussing that. I can't remember if it was with Daniel or Jamil. We were talking about suits. Yeah, the whole drama of suits is that this guy learned everything for pass the exam, you know? And you can study 6 years, but if you can approve that exam, you get this bar. You cannot you cannot go in front of the bar and lose it. You cannot become a lawyer. That is completely different in your countries. In Colombia, we have it. We have to present six exams, more or less, depending of the school, of the law school. But if you have to present each exam 100 times, you have the possibility, you know? You can lose it. And then at the end of maybe a couple of years, you can become a lawyer. But here is completely different. You have like one that is like the general, you are with all the lawyers of your generations, then you have a second opportunity. And if you lose it, like you miss all the time that you have been studying, you know? And Jamil that is trying to study law in America. This is so important that you getting prepared. We are not lawyers for the exam, but we need to pass the exam. So we need to have all the knowledge and to pay attention to the lessons and to all the classes just for us. Because maybe you lose or you win at the exam, that doesn't matter. But if you don't know how to act in front of the judge, you are done. I don't know if I had the opportunity because I was doing like some, backup in my phone. I don't know if I wish now that I'm going back to Colombia, because we will continue with our lessons, maybe I can send you the whole trial. But this is what I am trying to do with you, and is that you learn the technique. Let me see if I have it here, just for, let me see. Okay. Just for give you the example how this works. Here. This is me. I know that I look a little bit different. I will try to focus in the camera. This is just objections, right? But it's the same process. It's like basically a part of criminal law inside of the disciplinary process. Because of the most of the time, you made a crime. Yeah, we were talking about bad lawyering. That was just a case about sexual harassment, because I don't know if I did explain you that when I worked for this law firm, I worked with financial issues and sexual issues. I defended. The discovery. Now we are talking about the stages of the process, right? The discovery is the part we saw that. Now we saw that? No. Esto lo habíamos visto antes, ¿no? Ya tuve ahí como un déjà vu.
No,
No?
I don't think so.
Okay, perfect. This discovery is the moment in the process when you can get to the evidence or all the proofs that you will use to the other side, right? Es como lo decimos para que no se les olvide nunca la manera en la que yo lo asocio en mi cabeza. Y es cuando nosotros abrimos la baraja, las cartas, y le mostramos a la contraparte qué es lo que vamos a utilizar en su contra. When we are talking about criminal law, this is so useful because the discovery part of a process is the most important moment in the whole proceeding, because you can attack them, you can create, that is the way that you have the witnesses on it. That is how we start to try to do all the questions to make that he isn't wise enough, he's not an expert, he is not a real witness because he or she or whoever doesn't have a real, and um, depending of the case, he can become a good witness because all the disciplinary record that he can find, that we can find, maybe he has some crime offenses or whatever, we will use it in this part. In this happens, this is an space or a stage in all the process. Family, disciplinary, criminal, um, tort law, we can, in all the areas of law, we will have a discovery part, que es como el periodo probatorio, el periodo de descubrimiento probatorio, sería la mejor manera de traducirlo al español. So when you have to deal with a client and you need to talk about when we will present this proof or when we will need this witness or these witnesses, or when we will need this concept for this lawyer that is from Oxford, we are talking about the discovery time, ¿verdad? El descubrimiento probatorio, el descubrimiento de la prueba, todo lo que tiene que ver con sacarle la barajita, las cartas a la contraparte. Ese es el periodo de descubrimiento. ¿Listo? Be liable. Be liable is not just to be responsible about something. It's also to have the legal capacity. Tell me, Daniel, you can
Lali,
talk.
yeah, can you hear me?
Mhm.
This discovery time is a moment of process. It's like here in Ecuador, the discovery time is useful on the oral audience.
Yeah, just audience.
Yeah, just an audience. Is like a moment. Because here in Ecuador, when you make the demand, you
Yeah.
have to put in the demand all the of the proofs that you have.
Mhm.
So I don't know if the moment, if discovery moment, it's the first time with the demand, or discovery time is when you prove, when you act the proof on the audience.
It's both,
Okay.
because you know that discovery is like show all the cards, as I told you. So we are talking about, I don't know, divorce, and you have all the proofs because you are the lawyer of one of the parts. In the suit, you will put all the proofs that you got, but actually, we will talk about some violence. We have some witnesses, right? So we can have all the like, first, on the demand, we can put, and your honor, you can please put, or first witness is called Mariana Reira, who can, I don't know, or who evidence that this guy was like pushing on the face to his wife or whatever, right? So you can call her to the audience for confirm what we are saying in this like document. You are you are letting to the other part to know that you will use Mariana on the trial, right? But also, when we are on the audience and this discovery stage get open, we will listen to Mariana in front of the judge. So we can use like the discovery is like, we need to put this out because in English it's so different than Spanish. We learn it like in law school, that we have for every area of law a really different stage and really different proceeding, a really like specific terms for do. everything. Like we have 10 days for sue. We have 5 days for notify to the witness. We have, yeah, in English it's more simple than that. We have the period time to present the demand. We have that's so general, no? To present your proofs, whatever, in every case. Then we have some discovery time. Then we get the time that the judge analyzed everything, and then we have the final decision. That's it. That is the whole process. And depending of the case, we can talk, we're talking about civil law, then we have different terms. But basically, if we're talking about general, no worries. So we can use both. Both are correct.
Teacher, we can talk about the Ecuadorian system is a discovery system of the process, right? And what kind of countries or what kind of legal system we can talk about of a hidden proof system? Like we have the proof at the first time of the process, a hidden proof on the first time of the process, and we only have a moment to discovery on the audience, right?
You can use
Can I
both.
explain?
Ya. Y como en qué momento, si estamos hablando de un proceso, vamos a tomar el ejemplo más claro que sería el proceso penal. ¿Hasta qué momento del proceso estas pruebas están, digamos, que
Exactamente,
ocultas hasta que yo se la descubro a la contraparte?
exactamente.
Depending of your legal system. Of course, that if we are talking in Ecuador or in Colombia, depending of the matter, I will talk about civil, about family law, labor law. You have to put all the proofs that you got, like all the documents, concepts, receipts, invoices, everything that you can prove. You need to put it on the demand and then present it to the judge. So basically, when that demand comes to the other part, they will have like everything that they can use. When we change this principle in criminal law, because remember that the most important of all our rights is our freedom. It's like the government have this position for prosecute, but it's so useful that they like do it when the proofs. Y esto vamos a hacerlo en los dos idiomas. La única manera en la que una persona puede terminar en la cárcel es porque esa presunción de inocencia se ha ido. ¿Y cómo es la única manera en la que yo la quito? Con las pruebas, ¿verdad? Y esto quiero saber si está, Yamil sigue acá o ya se desconectó. No veo, no puedo ver, solo veo a 4 personas aquí, creo que se desconectó. Bueno, esto es importante decirlo en español,
No,
porque, bueno, Yamil, cuando veas esto en el video, es muy importante que lo entiendas. La presunción de inocencia es algo que tenemos todos y que la única manera en la que yo la puedo quitar es porque tengo unas pruebas muy serias en su contra. And I guess that is the way that you are trying to explain to me, like how I can manage the topic about a hidden proof, como una prueba que está no oculta, pero que sí está como sujeta de reserva, ¿verdad? And we can talk about the general of discovery process, right? Because when I am in the middle of the trial, and for example, I am creating or making questions to the witness, I am doing the practice. I am doing the practice of the proof. Estoy haciendo la práctica probatoria, ¿verdad? But that is just criminal law. So when we need to deal with clients or to deal with our bosses, doesn't matter if I'm talking about the first stage or the second one. We can discuss or refer about discovery. Porque cuando tú estás presentando en un tema civil o de familia la demanda y le estás dando todas las pruebas que tienes, estás haciendo un descubrimiento probatorio. Así no esté establecido así en nuestros códigos, solo que en inglés es mucho más general. Y así es como se maneja en Reino Unido, en Estados Unidos, en Canadá. They just refer to discovery process. Now, if you want to be more specific, it's just the practice of the proof number in the framework, en el marco de trabajo of the case number whatever, right? Number 11, between Daniel Suarez versus Mariana Reira, depending even for identify some sentences or some jurisprudence, depending of the country, the legal system change. For example, in Colombia, when we are talking about the Supreme Court of Justice, we have the decision, that like the sentence, then depends if it's talking about constitutional or constitutional. C, if it's like a specific requirement of human rights, is T, like we change the letter. Then we put like the consecutive, that can be something like 523 slash the year. In Bolivia, it's so different. They put it like continuous, like decision number, I don't know, 12,000. Ahí Mariana no me dejará mentir o me dirá, de pronto es diferente en este caso porque no conozco, no soy abogada aquí en Bolivia. Pero cosas así tan sencillitas no podemos dejar que nos abrumen la cabeza. Cada uno tiene su sistema. Por eso es que ustedes son abogados en Ecuador, en Paraguay, en Perú, si lo va a hacer Yamil. Y estos temas tan pequeñitos, cuando nosotros estamos hablando en un marco internacional, no importan. Tenemos que irnos a lo más importante, a la base, ¿sí? A lo general. Because you need to know this information, how deal with this. Because I don't know if at some point of your life, Daniel, you can go to study to UK, you are going to study to America, you are going to study to Canada. And then you will just study the whole legal system. And doesn't matter if we are talking about discovery, because all the terms will change and everything will change. But the base, no, the general, no, right? We have the bases in all the areas. Okay, so be liable. I will continue because I'm checking time. Be liable of something. It's not just about being responsible about a behavior. It's also when we are referring to your legal capacity to act. And for lawyers, depends completely of our license. But for people, you know, that we need like have like more than 18, that be conscious about their acts, that depending, don't have like any mental issues. And then that person can be liable to act. ¿Verdad? Sí, eso es súper importante. For signing a contract, for basically make that something more into the legal life, we need that to be liable. Then, you know what means quid pro quo sexual harassment when they just saw it? Never? Okay. Why I'm putting this? You know, I know that you believe that everything is like, because in the most of the cases when we are talking, that is sad, but it's true. When we are talking about some bad behaviors or bad lawyering for or team or bunch of attorneys, we have a lot of sexual harassment. And that happens in the public office all over my country all the time. But quid pro quo sexual harassment is when someone that have, because of their profession or experience or etc., a major level than you and start to do sexual harassment, then makes that your salary, your labor conditions, your stability start to depend of that sexual harassment. That means quid pro quo. It's like the example is the boss with the secretary, you know, this relationship is like this, and fully depends of if the woman or if the man, there is not common, but okay, the woman will accept or not this sexual harassment, because depends, the holy labor contract depends of this, and it's quid pro quo. Es como, si me das, te doy un ascenso, te cambio el salario, y si no me das, te quedas sin trabajo, ¿verdad? Entonces esto es súper importante, porque no sabemos qué vueltas esto les va a llevar la vida el día de mañana. Ustedes se especializan en derecho disciplinario y tienen que defender a un abogado. right? This is one of the causes or of one of the mm, most common things when we're talking about offenses that are recognized as that in the labor, but also in the disciplinary codes, and a lot of the offenses that lawyers do against whoever that they have in charge. That is also a way that we can lose our professional card. Okay, doing sexual harassment, que lo más literal que le podemos traducir al español es el acoso sexual, ¿verdad? También en entornos de trabajo, el acoso sexual en un entorno laboral, pero esto es algo que ya lo he trabajado en varios talleres y nunca lo han escuchado. That is the quid pro quo sexual harassment. Bueno, anotadito. Me duele la garganta. No, estoy asustada. Ok, aquí va la otra. La confesión. Nosotros lo podemos utilizar en todos los procesos. La confesión puede ser escrita, puede ser en medio de una audiencia, puede ser bajo una aceptación de responsabilidad, aceptación de culpabilidad, todo lo que esté relacionado con aceptar un hecho en el marco de un proceso penal, we will call it admission of guilt. Right? ¿Listo? Clarito hasta ahí. Then we have all, you know, that I need that you see it like with this wide scope, that is, all of these belongs, just as an example, and I'm trying to put new vocabulary on you, but all of this is in one way, direct or indirect, related with disciplinary law, but to bad lawyering. That is our main topic, right? We continue talking about bad lawyering. Then we have witness tampering. And I try to be some graphic here, then you cannot forget it, right? It's like witness when we use our witness as a puppet or marionette. And we start to, you need to say that, you need to say that. And here is like a really difficult line when we try to getting prepared to our witness about what we will answer, about what we will question and what they have to answer, but also to getting ready for what kind of questions will do the other part or the other lawyer. It's so close to become like witness tampering, because it's supposed that we as a lawyer, we need to get in ready, but also can be like suggest them some things that they cannot do in the process. That I believe, I have doubts, even the most simple things like that I made a question and you say, when we are seeing that with psychologists, we can start to check even with the face and all the corporal expressions, where he is looking, how he's looking, if getting nervous. We start to pretend or to attack that witness. And this is something that you need to know, even if you are defending, if you are like suing, doing the suit or supporting the case, you know, like if you started, if you are demanding. Esto es muy importante. Es muy difícil, hay una línea muy delgadita entre lo que sería una manipulación de testigos y enseñarle al testigo cómo defenderse de también, y esto funciona mucho en materia penal, de las preguntas que puede hacer el fiscal, porque ellos están entrenados para eso, ¿sí? Para sacar confesiones, para poder llegar a, y el abogado fue el que le dijo que tenía que decir eso. Una persona que no está preparada se puede tomar que un consejo que le dé el abogado puede ser una manipulación de testigos, ¿verdad? Y eso es algo como que lo tengan para su práctica, para su experiencia, para su vida. También es una manera en la que ustedes tienen que protegerse,
But
¿verdad? Para eso también.
that's why we have the objections here.
Yeah, we have the objections also. But remember that we were talking about witness tampering in bad lawyering is because really you do something like really bad, you know, like you make that this witness start to lie or something. I'm
It's
just giving you
it's
other
totally
point of view.
uh,
Yeah.
when you go to prepare the tempering for the judge and a witness tempering, it's totally different.
Yeah, but at some cases, no, because you need to make that your witness getting prepared for for listen screams from part of the prosecutor. You need to get in like you start to get in suggestions, and you can do like practice with your witness. That is what a really wise and a lawyer that have experience will do with your witness, right? Getting prepared to do some questions, whatever. But in a trial, if the other part have experience, will start to make that all this case looks like if you start to suggest, or if at some point of the process you suggest to your witness what to say, and then they can start easily a process against you for witness tampering. That is a crime, and it's not the same that I'm suggesting you, for example, Anne, no, you need to tell that you saw this, and lie, because of course that we're talking about bad lawyering. But it's not the same that I start to correct your position, that I start to correct, like, don't doubt when you are talking, look me in the eyes, you know, like it's so different to getting the witness prepared. But depending with who you are in the process, easily something that you start to talk so innocent, or maybe because you don't have like all the experience, easily can go in against you with witness tampering. And I'm telling you that by experience, you know, because it's so easy. They have like 25, 35 years of experience doing that. Y es muy fácil que el fiscal sepa cómo direccionar al testigo de tal manera que, ay, entonces usted practicó esas respuestas con su abogado. En algún momento, en la pregunta más débil, en la pregunta que no tenía importancia, en la pregunta en la que no se colocó atención, la atención necesaria, un testigo que no está preparado, se cae. Ay, el abogado le sugirió que dijera eso.
Objection.
Chao.
Suggestion.
Claro. Sí.
Objection. Your Honor,
They are
objection.
being suggested, yeah. But
Very
at some point, you know that when we are talking this kind of questions really fast, the judge just can start to see all the behavior of the witness. But I saw in like in our trials, we saw how for something so little, like for starting to getting prepared the witness, like to being strong, to maybe don't cry, they start to blame for witness tampering,
Mhm.
right? So for me, the main difference is about the bad faith that you are using. And if we are talking about, of course, that a crime or making that you lie or whatever, that is witness tampering. If not, you are getting prepared to your witness. And this objections part, as you say, is so useful because it's not just the way as you are protecting your witness, it's also how you are protecting yourself. A professor told us one day, like, if you are wise, you will never get into a trial. Si tú eres realmente sabio, nunca vas a llegar a juicio. Vas a buscar la manera de arreglar el proceso justo antes de llegar a juicio. Porque llegar a un juicio es, al momento ya de la práctica de pruebas, de los contrainterrogatorios, es muy delicado. Ya ahí tienes la libertad de tu cliente aquí como pendiendo de un hilo. ¿Sí? Bueno, dudas, inquietudes, quieren descansar 10 minuticos, no mentiras, quieren descansar un segundito, quieren despejar, tomar algo, siéntanse libres.
Yes.
2 horas son 2 horas, vayan al baño, tomamos 2 minuticos, 3 minuticos.
Va, 10 minutos.
No. No puedo, me vigilan.
Teacher,
Vamos a descansar un segundito. Dime.
a mí me sale un poco borrosa la presentación, el PowerPoint. Yo no sé si a los otros les sale así, les sale nítido.
Creo que soy yo.
A mí me sale súper borroso, no veo nada.
Now you can see it better?
So.
I don't know.
Mm.
Can you see it good? I'm not sure. Angie, another one. You can see good.
No, for me it's good. I don't problem.
I guess that is
I
your,
don't have problem.
yeah, your internet or your phone. If maybe,
Paraguay, the weather is so bad this week. I think it's that.
yeah. And you have winter time now
Yes,
also.
yes.
Yeah, for me that is so new that because in my country we don't do, as I told you, we don't have like seasons. So for me it's like, oh, a completely whole new experience. Bueno, hasta ahí cómo van, ¿está claro? ¿Están entendiendo lo que les estoy diciendo? ¿Todo bien? ¿To the bone?
That's why.
¿To the bone? ¿Hasta ahí
Todo,
vamos bien?
todo ótimo.
Ay, me encanta cómo suena el portugués, me encanta. Yo tengo un delirio con el portugués, ¿sabían? Me encanta. To the bone. Listo.
Ahí va
Vamos con la
mejor.
otra.
No bien, bien, pero mejor. Creo que es mi
Súper,
internet. Thank you, teacher.
me alegra. Súper, súper. Okay, now we have malfeasance. Malfeasance. It's like wrongdoing, especially by a public official. ¿Cierto? This is something that we need to know it. Como un acto de mala fe, pero especialmente cuando estamos refiriéndonos a un funcionario, cuando nos estamos refiriendo a un funcionario público. Vamos a colocar el ejemplo más común que pasa aquí en Bolivia. Ya me ha pasado. Así con toda la seriedad del mundo, se paran de frente al carro y dicen, no me va a dar para la Coca-Cola. Así súper directo. Te piden, en Colombia le decimos otro nombre, ya no me acuerdo. Eh, sí, te piden dinero. Por lo, o también lo he visto en unas partes en el Beni, like in the north of Bolivia, in the jungle. They just put something for block the street and then they ask for money. Yeah, you pay or you don't cross. That is something that I never saw. I don't know. It's like, wow. So that is malfeasance. Yeah, that is doing for police, right? And it's like, I can't believe it. It's like, what you can say? Well, you need to pay for cross. That is malfeasance. Now, with this example, you will never forget it. Okay, jointly responsible about something. Es esa responsabilidad solidaria que tenemos en cualquier caso, contrato, básicamente cuando nosotros nos encontramos en el mismo espacio jurídico con otra persona, somos una misma persona. Los dos en uno, diríamos nosotros, los tres en uno, right? We are jointly responsible about something, right? So partners are often jointly responsible. We are witnesses to these attacks and are also jointly responsible for ensuring that they don't happen again, right? We can also make the translation to Spanish that we are talking about corresponsabilidad, ¿verdad? And we can use it in civil proceedings, medical negligence. We can use it also for civil contracts, for commercial acts, about a lot of stuff we can be jointly responsible. ¿Ok? Somos solidariamente responsables, tenemos una corresponsabilidad respecto, esto es solo un ejemplo, ¿no? Lo que está entre comillas, right? Pro bono work. I was referring this topic with one of you. I guess that was with Angie. We were talking about this, that when we used in a really literal way, means like para el bien público. But I don't know if you have the opportunity to do some pro bono work, like when we're talking about some law firms. For example, in my law firm, it was necessary that I take like 13 cases or pro bono cases. That is basically, um, if for some reason you see a cat in front of the screen, it's completely normal. So sorry for that. She's coming. Okay. So no, don't do that. No, no hagas eso. Sorry. Who's the cat? Um, so we have like 13 cases each semester where we don't ask for any money, but then we need to deal with that case as a normal one, you know? If we have 300 cases or like little percentage of pro bono cases needs to be perfect, same quality, that's all that all the others, because we get like in a ranking about the best law firms in Colombia, and a lot of that ranking belongs to all the pro bono work that we can do, but also the sexual all the social work that we can made with communities, just as a consultant process, just like a volunteer work that you can create, is also belonging to the pro bono work, right? Supina. Supina. Fill out a subpoena. Fill out the subpoena. Please send me the subpoena. Give me the subpoena. Right? Citación o petición judicial. Here we have two examples. So in the case of a subpoena or discovery request that has not been issued under a court order, the party requesting the information, blah, 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 blah. One of these was that the tribunal should have full power to subpoena witnesses and documents together with all the powers, usually blah, 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 blah. ¿Verdad? En el caso de una situación en petición para divulgar pruebas que no se haya emitido bajo una orden judicial, aparte no sé qué, uno de ellos será el tribunal, debería tener plenos poderes para citar testigos y reclamar documentos junto con los demás documentos, poderes, etc. So now you can see two real examples as we maybe sending some email if we're talking about clients, but maybe also giving an order if we are working from, I don't know, a judge or a legal department, or as the case of Diandra, that all your family is full of judges. They do all of the time, they are filling out subpoena. Están llenando citaciones, citaciones a testigos, citaciones para audiencias. Siempre esto es algo súper importante. Citación. ¿Cómo carajo decimos citación en inglés? Subpoena. Fill it out de subpoena. Bien, suena profesional. Ya saben cómo hablar con los clientes. ¿Listo? The discovery request is a legal document. Fill it. I will put this here. Yeah. Fill it in connection with litigation and describing documents, materials, or information which the opposing party is required to produce. Here we are talking. Here we are talking about the document, la solicitud. La solicitud, el documento que yo estoy, en el que yo estoy solicitando, por medio del cual yo estoy requiriendo que se realice un descubrimiento probatorio, ¿verdad? Que está conectado con un litigio, con un caso, con un proceso, con any situación de carácter legal, ¿verdad? Here we are checking two examples, right? In the case of a subpoena or discovery request that has not been issued under a court order, the party requesting the information. As you can see, we can see here in the first example that subpoena and discovery request is used as a synonym, right? When the fund receives a subpoena or a discovery request in a lawsuit or workers' compensation case. ¿verdad? Entonces, when we are talking about discovery request, we are referring to the document, but also we can call it a subpoena, right? I will give you one example, then you cannot forget it. When we need some records of the bank, we send a discovery request telling like the judge number plus under the number of reference of the case number, blah, blah, blah. We are please asking that you create or that you fill it out, that you do all the discovery request about the case of Mr. who has a bank account here, blah, 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 right? Other expression that we have, that is the motion to dismiss. Motion to dismiss. Esto es algo súper importante. Acuérdense que nosotros tenemos las mociones, bueno, las mociones en Colombia se utilizan mucho de factor político, ¿sí? Cuando yo hago una moción de censura, lo que sea, siempre estoy hablando de un factor muy político, como en el marco del Congreso, en el marco de la Cámara de Representantes. Bueno, en inglés, in English, we have like different cases where we can use it. But basically, the translation of this is like I'm asking to the judge that please doesn't take into account a case, a process, a witness, a request, a solicitude, a duty. I'm asking, I'm doing a motion to dismiss. That means that I am telling to the judge, please don't accept what the other part is asking you, right? And that request or that complaint that you can see here in the button number 3 is needs to contain a lot of factual matter, you know, needs to have like a deep explanation about what happens in the case and how please don't accept what he's asking for. This part is almost at the end of the process. It's like the final request before the moment of the sentence. Okay? It's like after proof period, before the sentence. It's like the final petition. Entonces, vamos a concluir ¿se acuerdan cuando estábamos hablando hace un par de clases acerca de it is submitted? That is like the expression that we use for close that chapter and then let that the judge do the process about analyze everything, all the proofs and all the case. The motion to dismiss is like the final phrase or the final chapter of this whole area. And is, vamos a decirlo en español y vamos a decirlo en inglés. Cuando se acaba el periodo probatorio, nosotros vamos a decirle al juez, necesito, si tú estás demandando, si tú estás defendiendo, necesito que usted acepte la demanda y en los términos que la presenté por esto, y tenga en cuenta las pruebas de su tan interpretan. Gracias, señoría. If we are going to the other part, si nosotros vamos de la otra parte, necesitamos que lo desestime. Por esto, y porque el testigo dijo esto, right? So you can claim by protection, but also you can ask for the motion to dismiss, right? Depending on the case, then we left to the last part that the judge take the decision. Okay, Daniel?
Teacher, this motion to dismiss is the final argument.
No. Because the final argument, depending of the case. But when we are talking about the final argument, when we are closing all your argumentation process, you know?
We can include in the final argument the motion
The motion to dismiss, yeah. It's like one belongs to other, depending of the position that you have in the process. But the motion to dismiss is so useful and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
used
When you
when you
are
are, yeah, when you are trying to please, when you are defending, please don't put in your final or in your sentence any of the requests that they are doing because this. That can belong to the final argument. But if we are talking about criminal law, but if we are talking about a divorce, we never have a final argument. We will just ask the motion to dismiss or the motion to confirm, ¿verdad? Que se confirme todo lo que se pidió en la demanda o que se desestime. Esta es la mejor manera de desestimar lo que se está solicitando por parte de la contraparte. Es la mejor manera en la que nosotros vamos a referirnos a traducir esta moción.
But
¿Verdad?
this motion to dismiss, we can use the first time on the process. We can use that, right?
Yeah. Como cuando contestamos la demanda, right? Like the answer. Please, Your Honor, I will please ask that you dismiss all the requests or all the petitions that create the lawyer of the other part because of this. We can use. But if we are talking about like the practice, the trial, etc., this always happens at the end before leave that the case just get in the hands of the judge and take the decision that they need. Right? So perfect until then. It's clear. That will what I'm putting like days or months. And why I put that picture on it. Sometimes when we are need to present a lot of factual matter and we need to put a lot of proofs depending of the case. In this motion to dismiss is an opportunity that you have not for put more proofs or new proofs because it's not allowed, but yes, for focused in the one of the case that are the strongest one for winning it. Es el momento en el que tú, esa es pura estrategia de litigio, el momento en el que tú vas a sacar tus pruebas fuertísimas para restregárselas al juez en la cara y que no se le olviden. ¿Sí? Que eso también pertenece mucho al argumento final, cuando estamos hablando de materia de derecho penal. I don't know if Yamil is here. Yamil, ¿cómo vas? ¿Cómo estás entendiendo eso? ¿Sí va, no va? ¿Tienes alguna duda? Cuéntame. Sí, ¿no? No te escucho.
Activé mi micro recién. Yes, miss, I understood. I was going over about discovery and quid pro quo, sexual harassment, admission of guilt, and everything
Sí,
related to that.
pero entendiendo.
Well, all of this is about how the lawyers are working. It comes to about the process, all the process the lawyers do in the audience.
Yeah. I know that this can sounds a little bit weird for you because you never saw that. So it's completely normal. If at
But
some point you didn't understand a part, just tell me like, Gali, I can't. Give me other example. I never saw that. Or maybe I just saw it in a movie or just feel you free to make questions because we studied this for years. So we know what we are talking and for us it's like quite normal. But I'm not sure. I guess that you get the concept, but if you need more examples, maybe I can just talk in Spanish and make it like more clear. I need to know if we are like in the same level, like you are understanding, and if not, no worries, I'm going back. Hello.
Can you hear me, Miss?
Tell me again. Sorry, I cannot hear. ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo clear?
This last part, I didn't pay attention because recently here, I just connect
Okay.
that
But
part. Motion
yeah,
to this.
yeah, but the most important thing here about the motion to dismiss, that means that you are asking to the judge that don't pay attention about anything that the other part says. You can use it when you are presenting the demand, but also when you are in the framework of your final argument for do the conclusion, and then let on the judge's hands what they will do with your case. Okay?
All
Super.
right.
All right. Perfect. We will imagine that the judge do the decision, they confirm or they not. And depending if we are agree or not, we will appeal. Appeal. Nosotros vamos a apelar. ¿Qué es apelar? Irnos al superior jerárquico de ese juez. En algunos procesos de única instancia no tenemos, pero en la mayoría sí. Es una garantía, inclusive ya está reconocido en cortes internacionales, como el derecho de que el superior confirme o no tal decisión, ¿verdad? So basically, appeal is try to ask to the superior that oversees, that checks, that confirms about the decision of the judge that is checking our case, right? We have here two examples, and it's important, as you can see here. I put the part of the links, like the access, that blah 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 blah, where you can find like a lot of these examples with a lot of legal vocabulary, and it's so useful because you can go to the link where they found it, right? You can find like some concepts, some documents, and it's so useful. So here the first one. If the Secretary General replies to the staff member's letter, he or she may appeal against the answer within 1 month and receive such a reply, right? Entonces, si el secretario general responde aquí, estoy leyendo. Si el secretario general responde a la carta del funcionario, este podrá apelar contra su respuesta dentro del mes siguiente a su recibo, ¿verdad? That is not just also when you are like in front of the judge, no, I appeal for this. No, 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 no. It's also if you are maybe working in the government as an administrative part or etc. You will like, you can appeal in the next 5 days. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye. Yeah, we use it. An appeal is a formal complaint, but you're about denial of coverage. This is the example about some cases that when we are going insurance or going against an insurance company, como una compañía de seguros. Este caso es de ahí, de cobertura. Cuando hablamos de coberturas, like coverage, la mayoría de las veces estamos hablando en materia de seguros, like insurance, medical insurance or health insurance, life insurance, car insurance. That is covered by it, like have a coverage, right? La apelación. ¿Qué pasa si yo digo que necesito hacer efectivo el seguro de vida de mi mamá y me la niegan por X o Y motivo? Apelo. ¿Sí ven? La apelación no solamente la vamos a utilizar, y esta palabra no solamente la vamos a utilizar en el marco de una apelación de un proceso judicial, de un proceso administrativo. También lo podemos utilizar en un proceso meramente privado, ¿saben? En un proceso, en una solicitud, esta apelación. O sea, el término apelación lo podemos utilizar siempre. Bueno. Here we have, he understands and agrees that he did not spend enough time with his client to prepare him for the trial or to make his decision regarding whether he will testify. He also understands and agrees that he didn't request additional time to prepare his case for sentencing or to prepare his client and the other witnesses for the sentencing proceeding. That is also bad practice, right? Yes, this is part or belongs a confession that create a lawyer because he really cannot get him prepared to the witness to the case. And then, but all the questions that create the prosecutor, they can understand that this doesn't take the enough effort from part of the lawyer that represents the case. You know, that is also bad lawyering. That means bad lawyering. That is the hard part, you know. And some prosecutors' office in my country, in Colombia, they have like 5,000 processes or proceedings on them. In this, like the prosecutor and his or her secretary. That is not possible that someone can do a good work with that kind of number of cases, you know. So they can also be followed or judged by bad lawyering. But then if the government didn't tell you or didn't give you all the like not just tools, you know, it's like all the personal and everything that you need for do a really good job. Same that all that is happening right now with COVID. If all the physicians didn't have like all the elements to really create a secure and safe space for all the patients, what they can do, right? You know what happened in Colombia? They was like separating all the beds with plastic bags. Yeah, because they don't have how to they and that is sorry but true. We are not prepared, like all health system can't have the capacity to deal with this virus. Yeah. So imagine put it in your face that in your head that is the same. Right? If I can't not make the time for make that my witness getting ready, my witness, my client, my concept, my whatever that I'm doing in the mark or the framework of my profession, if I cannot find enough time or give all the attention and all the si no podemos lograr darle todo este carácter y hacer un buen trabajo a lo que estamos haciendo, en lo que sea que nos estemos desenvolviendo como profesionales. También eso es actuar en contra de estos principios y actuar de mala fe, porque es como entrar a un juicio sin prepararlo. Claro, puede ser el mejor abogado, el experto en improvisación, pero no es un buen acto, no es a lo que nosotros nos comprometimos, ¿verdad? Then we have the Board of Overseers. Overseers. We use it too much in commercial. We use it a lot of in arbitration also. That basically is la junta de supervisores, la junta directiva, la junta encargada de verificar los movimientos de la compañía, la junta del banco. Always that we are getting related with a group of people that like needs to do some specific and technical work to check that everything is going good. We are referring to board of overseers. The example, high school graduates went to college. The Harvard Board of Overseers issued a report complaining that only 4% of etc. Right? We will use it in almost all public or private spaces. But when we are talking about more than one that have like functions to supervise, to analyze that everything is going good, we are related with Junta de Supervisores, Board of Overseers. Move to withdraw from a case. A motion to withdraw is a document an attorney files with the court when that attorney no longer wishes to represent his client. The way that I'm quit in front of my client. I can't continue. I can continue dealing with this. Thank you so much. I am moving from this. and I do it cross or short the motion to withdraw, right? I present it in front of the judge and the legal document where I explain to the judge why I cannot continue represent him because maybe we have difference by the money, we have difference by the responsibilities, we have difference about how we need to deal with the client, how we need to deal with the case. And basically, cuéntame, Daniel.
This move to withdraw, it's like a quit.
Yeah, it's the way that it's how I quit or I renounce, right? It's like the formal way to say like I cannot continue dealing with this. Yeah, but in front of the judge or in front to the agent or in front of the legal department, the Ministry of Justice, whatever. Is how I put out all the legal responsibility that I get for all the faculties that I accept as a lawyer representing his interests or their interests or her interests, right? All attorneys in the United States are governed by rules of ethics or professional conduct that require them to represent their clients diligently and keep their clients' information and communication confidential. However, if the relationship breaks down and the representation can't continue, a motion to withdraw is the lawyer's way out. Es la manera en la que el abogado sale, ¿verdad? And why I am putting this here? Because we are referring and we are talking about what bad lawyering is. And if I just don't pay attention to a case and I never present motion to withdraw, remember that when we signed the contract and we presented, we have our duties or legal responsibilities for overseas to check, to taking care of the process, you know. And if for some reason we can't, remember that we saw yesterday about the letter of engagement and how works like all these clients care proceedings. If I don't inform, if I'm not getting in contact with my client, if I don't create all the duties, I am also doing bad lawyering, right? If I cannot continue dealing with my client, it's prefer that you renounce, that you quit, and you will present this document. Okay, Daniel, I'm listening to you.
Teacher, can a contract have a clause of withdrawal? I can
Yeah.
add in a contract a withdrawal clause.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Always. I don't know
We
in
can
their
use this
country
this withdrawal
expression.
this withdrawal expression
Yeah.
on whatever time.
Yeah, and you change. If you change just a little bit in the contract, you put something like clause number 10. When the parties will present a motion to the withdrawal, that will happen when, for example, the client, it's like the client and the attorney doesn't find a way that made that this relationship continue moving forward. That happens because we are humans. We were discussing today with a friend, like, you know how annoying sometimes is deal with clients. Like sometimes the one that less pay um is the one that is more annoying, you know. Sometimes we are just humans, we have relationships, sometimes we have good connections, sometimes not. And maybe you start so good with your client, but then after 2 or 3 years dealing with the same case, you cannot continue anymore. And it's also a full responsibility and an act of ethics. Like, I can't continue dealing with that. I prefer present this, renounce, obviously talking and expressing why to my client, and let everything clear, everything good, and then move on from that process. That is also like a good act, a professional good act. Okay. Así que sí, respondiendo a tu pregunta, lo puedes colocar en medio del contrato, adaptarlo a las cláusulas y colocarlo dentro de las posibilidades. ¿Por qué crees que renunciarías a un proceso? Si ya no puedo comunicarme con la persona, porque pues súper válido, porque no ha pagado honorarios, porque no me está entregando, no me está facilitando la información, porque estoy colocando en riesgo mi tarjeta profesional o mi licencia, porque resulta que yo tengo que presentar unas pruebas, por ejemplo, del 10 al 20 de diciembre, y el cliente me llega con las pruebas a los 20 días, no de otra manera en las que yo las pudiera conseguir. ¿A quién van a compulsarle copias por no llegar al juicio con lo que tenía que presentar? ¿Al cliente o a mí? Of course that's on me. Because I have the duty, I have the legal responsibility to represent all the interests of my client. If I from one way I'm doing it in a bad form, or I'm not do it like fulfill, etc. Not because of me, because the client or something happened. What I can do? Nothing. Sometimes it's better that you renounce, that you quit. As a lawyer, I can give you some options. The client's inability to pay legal fees. The client's lack of honesty or insistence upon conducting that is illegal. The client's request for the attorney to engage in a legal activity or actions that violate the rules of a professional conduct. This is some of the classes that you can put that are so general, but are protecting you as a lawyer, Daniel, if you are like really interested about how put this in a contract. This is some of the examples. The class number 10 referring to how or when or in which cases we will present as a law firm, or I will present as your consultant or your attorney the motion to withdraw in this case in front of the judge. When? Bloom, 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 you put it. And we will finish this presentation with Scroll Company. Scroll Company. Todas estas empresas que aseguran, que crean una garantía, que administran, depositan un dinero. La gata. I don't know if you can see it. Fideicomiso. Los fideicomisos. Bien. Why is here this information? Because you know the way that a lot of lawyers protect themselves is making that the clients sign that like an insurance, but also that put all the fees and all the commissions in an escrow company. Esto es una estrategia de litigio, que es hacer que el cliente pague una póliza de seguros, dependiendo del caso, especialmente en temas en materia criminal y en temas en materia civil, comercial, también lo utiliza muchísimo, es de asegurar, cuando ustedes como abogados y cuando sus compañías, sus firmas de abogados tienen que representar algunos asuntos estatales, el Estado también les va a exigir como que exista una empresa que va a asegurar, ¿cierto?, su actuar como profesional. Pero también otra estrategia que se está utilizando mucho es utilizar los fideicomisos. ¿Qué son los fideicomisos? Son las compañías que van a administrar el dinero hasta determinado periodo de tiempo o que va a ser garantía, va a permitir que un dinero pertenezca como o se encuentre en depósito garantizando una obligación, una situación, lo que ustedes quieran, o para la destinación que ustedes prefieran, ¿verdad? And it's like a really good way to put and to understand. I don't know if you can see that. The cat is playing. I don't know. Sorry for that. Sometimes just jump on the computer. Crazy. So until that, everything is clear. ¿Verdad? Esa es una manera en la que nos aseguramos también nosotros. Y eso se maneja mucho cuando tenemos clientes grandes. En el divorcio no vamos a ponerlos a firmar un fideicomiso para que paguen los honorarios, ¿sí? Pero cuando mi compañía, mi firma está representando que sea una multinacional, claro que es importante que me aseguren que están pagando todos mis honorarios a todos mis funcionarios, ¿verdad? ¿Listo? Entonces hasta ahí, súper. ¿Alguna pregunta, duda? ¿La quieren realizar ahorita? Give me a second, please. Okay. As I referred, we will start to talk about intellectual, no, not intellectual. We will belongs to intellectual property law when we're talking about a specific topic. But this is something related, that is data security law, right? Did you listen about this before? Especially the ones that are related with commercial law. Did you listen? Yes, no. Okay. We know we are not engineers, but we know how works internet, right? Basically, has like a really specific language that we cannot understand, that we maybe saw in movies, that is like a lot of numbers and really specific way of communication, like 110 blah, 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 codes and etc. That of course we want to understand. Maybe yes, if you are really interested, but it's a language that all of us share, even if we don't know how to do it, how born, how create, etc. We know how to be on Google. So I put it like it's an incomprehensive vocabulary because we didn't study, we didn't getting prepared for how or understand how this internet world works. But actually works. And it's a lot of engineers that works and they are like getting prepared for program all the systems and all the websites and everything that we saw online. But also, as more than 3 billion people are connected to internet all day, we have this part of law that is burning, that is how the hell we deal with the crimes that are made online. We can talk about financial, we can talk about some sexual things, we can talk about some harassments against your integrity, dignity, human rights. Like a lot of things can happen online. And then is when born all this cybersecurity. It's not just for banks and financial issues. No, it's just how we deal with our daily things that are related to internet. So here we have 3 rules. The first one, if there is a vulnerability, it will be exploited. The second one, hackers always find a way to get around the laws and framework that govern a computer systems, and everything is vulnerable, banks, insurance, etc. This is taken by one of the experts in creation of codes for or program for hackers or hacking stuff, and he creates like a TEDx talk and that is on YouTube. If you want, I can send it to you. And it's like all the danger of internet. And I put it here because his ideas are so good for us, not just to understand, like from the point of view as a lawyer, but also we are sometimes not conscious about what kind of information, what kind of personal information we are putting online, even about our feelings. And I'm telling you because I have, like, sometimes I get inspired and I start to write and etc. But sometimes we didn't be so conscious about what kind of information we are giving. I learned that because, as you know, I'm traveling and I'm traveling alone. And always I was like posting where I was, you know, because of the stories. And it's not to be paranoid or paranoid or have like a lot of, like, not trust too much, but clearly and for sure it's so dangerous because you didn't know who is seeing all your personal information. So I take the decisions. Right now I am putting like pictures of Samaipata, Santa Cruz. The people never know where I am, like in real time, because I'm lonely, you know, and I'm in another country that is not mine. You know, it's like other context. But I'm just giving you my example to explain to you how these problems like never were thinking before, like, or for grandmas or for your moms or etc. Because now everything is online. If you want to book something, if you want to search for something, if you want to buy something, always we are connected by law. And I start to born like a new whole way about how the hell we start to deal with financial issues connected by law. Because it's like cyber crimes, but also a lot of responsibility. If some hacker, really good one, hacks my accounts, the banks have responsibility. Yes, not why, right? Like a lot of problems that 10 years, 15 years ago, we never imagined that we will have, right? And for that reason, born data security law. You listened this before, you have some lessons on it, you studied, yes, no, why, some point, tell me. ¿Lo habían? ¿Lo habían escuchado antes? Como políticas de tratamientos de datos, seguridad, ¿sí?
Yes, here in Ecuador we have an agency who who name is Sinardap,
Ujú,
and here the Sinardap have the data security of all of Ecuadorians.
ujú.
So they can ellos manejan aquí el tema de los datos con el registro
Ok.
civil en conjunto. Entonces, de hecho, la directora o la anterior directora del SINARDAP fue profesora mía y ella nos indicó alguna materia en la cual veíamos algunos delitos de Internet de la nueva era, ¿no? Como son el
Ujú.
sexting, este tema de la violación de datos, el ethical hacking, los hackers igual.
Súper.
Entonces, ajá, aquí hay una agencia en la cual cuidan de tus datos de cierta forma, ¿no? No es 100% segura, pero bueno, es lo que
Hacen
hay.
el esfuerzo en lo que hay. Está bueno, eso está bueno saber qué es lo que hay. So now we will start to check what is lo que hay, what is what we can find in the US, okay? So they talk, and the first is like how the lawyers start to solve issues, right? The first thing is because the problem exists. How, why we exist? Because we need to solve the problem of somebody else. That is our work. So though the US has not passed the legislation dealing solely with data security law, organizations are expected to safeguard sensitive information, establish privacy policies. Legislation addressing specific types of sensitive data is found within various US laws, such as Derechonivel. That is just the name of the law. That is born in like a new whole area in Europe. about how the hell they are dealing with all the data for all the Europeans. Because I don't know if you tried, I know that this is so random, but I don't know if you try to find something on Google, I don't know, a city, or you are going to, or you want to buy something like a jacket or etc. And then you are going on Instagram or Facebook and all the ads that you have on it, ads. ¿Saben qué son ads? Toda la publicidad que les están corriendo en sus redes sociales, ¡pum!, está relacionado con eso que ustedes buscaron el día anterior, hace unas horas. So all the information, all your personal information is so valuable for everyone that wants to sell you a product or a service. And this is something, I don't know if you remember the problem with Facebook about how they are not sure how to protect all their personal data. They are having like issues with all the data protection of all of the users. But this is how they make money, right? They have access to your personal information. Then they just start to make that.
The problem with TikTok and the
Yeah.
Pentagon on United States, that the
I don't know. I don't
when
know about that.
yeah, really, that's a big problem on the last year, I think,
I never listened about.
because TikTok have a private policy that when you accept the
Terms and conditions.
the app, yeah, the terminal conditions, they have access to all of your information in your computer or your cell phone. And some workers of the Pentagon on USA and on the White House have have TikTok, or their familiars have TikTok, and the TikTok company have the all of
Access.
information
Mhm.
from the workers of these agencies. And the ex-president Donald Trump make a demand to China for this privacy policies. And
Okay, thank you so
it was
much.
a big problem.
I never listened about it. I didn't even have TikTok.
Yeah, no,
So
I
it's
don't have
like,
TikTok too.
but
But
I don't have any idea about what is happening about that. It's really important. Thank you for keep us updated. I really, for sure, I never listen about, but maybe we can work with something for that tomorrow, and then we like make it real, like we put it uh, on the earth, like we put the feet on the ground. Yeah. So now with that you just said, and thank you so much for your intervention, is how they can manage all your personal data. And depending of what you are doing with your life, but they start just to play with your minds, because how many hours do you spend on social media? Too much, too much, right? Or the most of the people, right? So other fact is like the Federal Trade Commission Act may investigate deceptive acts, including when a website does not follow its private policy, and provides also recommendations to help or develop some guidelines. They are trying to create some manuals or some concepts or aspects that the company needs to take into account when they are trying to create the terms and conditions, and also for how I accept or I am agree with some public policies that belongs to all the companies, but also that are online, and how all the companies have to be included for protect all the personal and privacy and all the information that you are letting them know because of the situation. Aquí tenemos con español y en inglés, es muy específico. Lo tomamos de Winston y Strawn, que ellos son, Anne Strawn, sorry, ellos son una firma grandísima de Estados Unidos, y básicamente ellos explican cómo estas leyes deben estar protegidas o sujetas a políticas de tratamiento de datos específicas. Entonces, como la ley de informes crediticios sobre el uso y la eliminación adecuados de la información de los créditos, la ley de administración de la seguridad y la información que requiere que todas las agencias federales y contratistas tengan sistemas seguros de almacenamiento de datos en Estados Unidos, porque la información de los estadounidenses llega a esas agencias. También toda la información que se puede encontrar en línea de todos los niños y niñas que tienen que estar por ley sujetas a la protección de privacidad, por cuanto estamos hablando de derechos de menores, las leyes estatales que exigen niveles específicos de seguridad de datos para la información y tratamiento de datos, y muchos estados ahora requieren legalmente que las organizaciones notifiquen a los consumidores sobre las violaciones de seguridad que involucran datos personales. Esto es solamente un ejemplo de cómo por el lado que ustedes se metan en su vida siempre van a encontrar que somos información y que tiene que estar protegido. Y es algo que no vi en la universidad, yo no sé ustedes, ya lo tendremos tiempo de conversar mañana en nuestra speaking call, pero es un tema que de verdad en este momento de nuestras vidas y en nuestra era está súper permeándonos por todos los lados. Y vamos a ver como aspectos, like the legal aspects, that we can have into account when we are referring to data security law. I know that was really hard half the sessions. I can see in your eyes that are you so tired because I am seeing it like mine also. So I really appreciate that you take this hour because of my meeting. Tomorrow we will discuss about data security in our speaking call, and we will continue with this topic until we finish it. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And before you leave, I will please ask you that you fill the survey that now is open. Esta, supongo yo, que va a valer por las 2 sesiones. Así que ténganla en cuenta, las cositas que vimos, recuperando esa hora que perdimos. Y bueno, vámonos a dormir. Aquí son, no sé qué horas son en sus países, pero son las 10 y ya estoy re viejita. Como, me voy a dormir, niños. Me estoy re cansada, el computador también te agota los ojos. Y me estoy dando cuenta que casi todos tenemos gafas, excepto Mariana. Mariana salva. Pero abogado que se respete
Yeah.
sale ciego. Listo. Muchísimas gracias. Me quedan 2 personas. A medida que vayan terminando pueden salir. Muchísimas gracias de verdad por su tiempo y su
Thank you,
esfuerzo.
teacher. See you
Thank you so
tomorrow.
much. Thanks to
Bye
you. See you
bye.
tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you, teacher. Good night. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night. Good night.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
See you, see you. Me faltan 2.